Hey Falcon fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to Atlanta Falcons Today as we jump into the latest Falcons news and rumors and the reaction to the Bills' loss on Sunday, which now was yesterday here in very cold Atlanta. You guys that live in Atlanta, it's freezing out there today. I got the heater on and the jacket on today here at my house. It's fun New Year's Eve, fun New Year's weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed it, but a tough loss from our Falcons, 29-15, and a game that felt a lot closer than 29-15. It would have been a lot closer had the refs not screwed us on that very stupid, whatever that call was with Matt Ryan. I still can't figure that one out. We'll talk about that a little bit later on here in the video, but we talked about this last week. I expected the Falcons to play tough, and they did, and they came out and looked like a team that wasn't going to throw in the towel, even though we all knew they weren't going to make the postseason. But when you play Buffalo, snow game, on the road, Bills are trying to at least squeak into the playoffs, lock up the division there in the AFC North. It's the expectation and the outcome that I think a lot of us expected from Atlanta. But again, a hard-fought game and a chance, especially if Matt Ryan scores on that touchdown, which was a touchdown, by the way. The fact they called that back was like the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Atlanta's back within one score, and they have a chance to win this game. Now, there were problems offensively in terms of the offensive line, defensively in terms of the defensive line. We'll talk about that coming up in just a couple of minutes, but overall, a hard-fought game, a fun game, and gets us one closer to the end of the season when we can start focusing on the offseason, where Atlanta can make some big changes and potentially get back to the playoffs in 2022. Pin comment down below. Grade the Falcons' performance versus the Bills, right? A, B, C, D, or F. Let me hear your thoughts right here. Scroll down. There's an ad break here. You can scroll down, get your votes in. I'm at a C+, and we'll talk about why I'm disappointed in a lot of the things the Falcons did, even though there was some good, and we'll talk about the good, but the bad outweighed the good, and that's why they lost, which has been a recurring theme, as you guys know, here on the channel and for the Falcons overall this season. But go first, though, go down below, grade the Falcons' performance A through F. All right, first takeaway, and again, this made no sense, right? What was that call? Like, Matt Ryan got screwed on that call. Can someone explain to me that ruling? Because here's what the NFL is saying. The NFL is saying that Matt Ryan was diving, therefore giving himself up, which, one, it doesn't make sense because he was diving forward at the goal line. He wasn't, sliding backwards like a normal quarterback would to give himself up. And two, let's just say he was giving himself up, then the hit by the Bills cornerback after should have been a late hit on a quarterback and a 15-yard penalty, meaning that it would have at least negated the Matt Ryan taunting penalty, therefore putting the ball at the 1-yard line where Matt Ryan slid down, right? That's if it was actually himself giving himself up, which still made no sense. He's diving for the end zone. Like, he's literally diving across the pylon to get into the end zone. It makes absolutely no sense. It really took the chances of the Atlanta Falcons coming back and winning, or at least tying the football game, out of the equation. Had the Falcons scored on that drive, they would have gotten it within one score with 6 minutes left. It was a dumb ruling overall, and there was some really bad officiating overall by the officials there. And I know Arthur Smith at his post-game press conference didn't really want to call it the refs because he knew he was going to get a fine if it happened, but no one's going to fine me, and so I'm going to say it again. The refs were terrible on Sunday and really cost the Falcons a chance to go ahead and win that game. Matt Ryan, he wasn't terrible. The pressure in the pocket continues to be an absolute nightmare for him. You feel bad for Matt Ryan dropping back there each time and getting hit every single time. 5 sacks at Matt Ryan. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but that was a drive that showed the gut and the heart of Matt Ryan. I think the taunting penalty afterwards was him being pumped to go ahead and score, and then, of course, them to negate it and then take it away and take points off the board was rough to see, to say the least. All right, we're going to get into the secondary and the defense as a whole. Quick shout out to our friends at BetUS. JetSports.com/BetFalcons. That promo code Falcons125. Get 125% deposit bonus whenever you first sign up. And you don't just have to bet on the Falcons, right? I bet on Atlanta, and they actually went ahead and won me that bet because they did cover yesterday. But with the game, only one more game left to go, you might be saying, what do you bet on after the Falcons are done? Well, you bet on the rest of the National Football League. You got a lot of playoffs. You got a ton of wildcard games, divisional round games, AFC, NFC Championship game, and the Super Bowl. And so bet on it with our friends at BetUS. It just makes watching football a lot more fun. I bet on my Baylor Bears this weekend. Won money with that one. Shout out to them for winning the Sugar Bowl. It's always fun when your team wins and you win some money on it. Do it with our friends at BetUS. JetSports.com/BetFalcons. First sign-ups can use the promo code Falcons125. Get that 125% deposit bonus. Now, the secondary played great, and we got to acknowledge the secondary was fantastic. The defensive line did not. Right, so we'll start with the secondary. Great job slowing down the passing game of Josh Allen. Josh Allen was only 11-26, 120 yards, no touchdowns, and 3 picks. Like, absolutely fantastic. A.J. Terrell got another pick, playing at an all-pro level. The fact that he is still continuing to trend upwards, I think it's going to be great news for the Falcons going forward, as he's going to be one of the top cornerbacks in the league. He already is, but really, I think he'll be acknowledged as one of the top cornerbacks in the league going into 2022. Now, the problem is that for as great secondary played, as slowed down as they did for Stephon Diggs and, of course, Josh Allen, the Bills' rushing attack ran all over the Falcons' front seven. The front seven was terrible. Devin Singletary, 110 yards. Josh Allen had 81 yards. Zach Moss had 79 yards. And then you throw in Isaiah McKinney's 3 yards there as well. As a whole, they rushed for over 200 yards against the Falcons' defense. Like, that just cannot happen in the National Football League. And so, you got to call them out, right? Front seven, terrible. Back three, or back four, I should say, really, really good. That Falcon defensive line, man. Listen, I say it every single week, and we're starting to kind of beat a dead horse here, but they will for sure take a defensive lineman in the first round. If they don't, I will be so shocked. And we'll talk about draft position here in just a couple of minutes, but they've got to take a defensive lineman. They've got to have help. They've got to be able to get pressure. They've got to be able to slow down a running game just a little bit. The Bills aren't a great rushing football team. They're not like the greatest rushing football team in the NFL. That's Philadelphia. But they were unable to do anything. And had they been able to slow down the rushing attack, they might have actually been able to win this game. Give me a hell yes down below in the comment section if the Falcons need to draft a defensive lineman in the first round next year, right? I mean, hell yes. Like, they have to, right? You guys feel confident in that? I do. Give me your comment down below right now. Okay, again, we talk about beating a dead horse. Let's go wash, rinse, repeat Falcons offensive line. They got obliterated. I mean, they got abused. This was the 10th, 11th? I think it was the 13th multi-sack game of Matt Ryan's season this year. 5 overall sacks. He was running for his life the entire day. And sure, a couple of them were coverage. Maybe 1 or 2 is Matt Ryan just not getting rid of the football fast enough. But this is the offensive line getting beaten in and beaten down every single snap. And this is just a reoccurring theme. It's like, it's not even a surprise anymore. We expect it every single week. I expect 3 or 4 sacks from the Saints next week. It's just going to happen. For as much as they are going to address the defensive line this offseason, they must also address the offensive line at some point during the draft and probably in free agency as well, because it's rough out there, man. And as great as Matt Ryan is, and I love him, he can't do anything if he's getting hit time and time and time again, and he was there on Sunday. Now, as I mentioned, the draft is coming, right? And then even though they're eliminated from the playoffs, the draft is coming, and we're going to do some great draft coverage for you guys here on the channel. And so do it with our friends, go ahead and subscribe with us down below as we approach 5K subs here on the channel. Off-season coverage, best coverage, because any of the news, any of the rumors, any of the trades or the signings, we'll cover it all here on the channel. So go down below and hit that subscribe button. All right, so Atlanta did get eliminated from the playoffs yesterday, and we did talk about that at the start of the video, but that does mean that their draft pick will for sure be inside the top 18 and can really be as high as 6, right? So look at this. First off, here's the top 5. Jacksonville is locked in at 1. Detroit is 2. Houston 3. The Jets are sitting there at 4, and the Giants are sitting there at 5, right? Those are the 5 worst teams. Now flip over to the 6 through 10. Carolina is 6, and they're 1 game in terms of differences in wins and losses with Atlanta. The Jets are there because of the Jets are there with the Seattle Seahawks trade. That's Seattle's pick, was the Jets. Giants are there for the Bears. Washington at 9, and Atlanta right now at number 10. Atlanta can move up. I mean, if they lose on Sunday, which we're not rooting for, but it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, they can definitely go ahead and lock up the 8th overall pick, the 7th overall pick. Like, these can be some solid picks for Atlanta, or a solid pick for Atlanta. And so, honestly, Atlanta being eliminated is okay. And, like, I wanted the Falcons to make the postseason this year because Atlanta needs a postseason team in terms of the Atlanta Falcons. Like, the Hawks are going to the postseason, and the Braves are winning the World Series, and Atlanta needs to go ahead and, pitch in their own weight. But once we got to, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think we all realized, maybe even you realized it earlier, Atlanta was not going to win. Like, they were not going to win in the postseason, so losing is the best option. It turns their pick into a top 10 draft pick versus a bottom 18 through 32 pick, right? You win and you go to the playoffs, your pick is 18, 19, 20, all the way down to 32. And so this is good news for Philadelphia, even though it is a bummer they are officially eliminated. All right, final thoughts here. You do have something to play for next week, and the fact that it's a divisional opponent does mean you're going to get up for that, and the fact it's a home game, trying to win another home game this year, that's a big deal, but most importantly, you can eliminate the Saints. Now, how much fun would that be? You would sweep the Saints this year and officially knock them out from playoff contention, because if the Saints win and the Niners lose, then the Saints are going to go ahead and go to the postseason, and no one wants to see Taysom Hill in the postseason because he's not going to do anything, right? I mean, talk about a snooze fest of a team getting in. So beat the Saints, wake up for that one, and then you can go ahead and eliminate them on Sunday. Now, again, do you guys care if the Falcons win or lose this week? What do you think? Type Y down below if you do care. If you do not care if they win, type N down below for no. I think it's a win-win. If you beat the Saints, you eliminate them. If you lose, you improve your draft pick. So I'm fine and happy with either one. Curious what you guys think, though, down below right now. As I mentioned, of course, the playoff picture as it stands, picks or positions 1 through 5 are locked in. Philadelphia also clinched their playoff spot, and you see they're at the bottom. Niners are the 6th seed right now, but a loss would bump them down and move the Saints in with the Saints win. So beating the Saints on Sunday would be great news for, I think, Falcon fans, just to make sure that there's only one NFC South team in there, and that is the Bucs, who had a very dramatic weekend, as I'm sure you guys saw with Antonio Brown. All right, all-time favorite today on our Atlanta Falcons News and Rumor video here. We jump into the reaction. Plenty more content coming up later on this week as we look ahead to Week 18 and also ahead to the offseason, which is a big offseason for our Atlanta Falcons. Again, Atlanta Falcons Today, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off. To the rest of your day.